Is proudly presented by AT&T Uverse TV.
The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black Force. We are Southwest.
The last 6 weeks have been tough for Yu Darvish. The Rangers right-hander has an ERA under 3 in his last 7 starts, but has yet to find the win column. Today, Yu continues to look for that elusive 8th victory of the season. But to accomplish his goal, he must out-duel one of the National League's best in Red starter Matt Latos. The rubber game of this 3-game series between the Rangers and the Reds is coming up next on Fox Sports Southwest. A large crowd filing into Rangers ballpark in Arlington under crystal clear skies. The Rangers and the Cincinnati Reds get set to wrap up this 3-game series. And welcome into a Sunday afternoon of baseball, everyone. Along with Tom Grieve, I'm Steve Busby. Glad you could join us. This should be an entertaining afternoon because the pitching matchup doesn't get much better with a couple of right-handers on the mound like today.
No doubt about it, Buzz. You've got 2 top-of-the-rotation guys with very similar numbers, really. There are some subtle differences between the two. Darvish has given up fewer hits. Latos has given up fewer home runs. Darvish has more strikeouts. Latos has walked a few less. But when you boil it all down, these are 2 top-of-the-rotation guys that should provide a pretty good matchup today.
Yeah, it should. And the hitters probably will have their hands full if both these guys are on their game. It'll be interesting because the winner of this game wins the series. And the Rangers, of course, would like to keep their streak going. We'll be back with the starting lineup and the first pitch from Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. The Reds and the Rangers right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Your Texas Ford dealers. Come join the Red, White, and U celebration. Enjoy great savings on America's best-selling brand. Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. and by Progressive. Visit Progressive.com today. Well, a great early summer afternoon here in North Texas. And before we get things underway here, let's go down to the field where Rick Renner is standing by. Rick?
Yeah, it's not too hot down here, but it has been a little hot on Yu Darvish. 7 consecutive starts without a win, but he's pitched very well. I talked to David Murphy before today's game. Reason for concern? He says no.
I'm not as much concerned about wins and losses as him just going out there, keeping us in the ball game, giving a great start. And, obviously I think we know eventually that things are going to start meshing, a little bit better in that sense. If he keeps throwing the ball like he's capable of, our offense is going to come up big for him, and we're going to play good defense behind him, and we're going to win a lot of games.
That's our Geico quote of the day. And keep this in mind with a quick turnaround. Giovanni Soto is catching Yu Darvish today. He was his personal catcher in all of 2012. And the last time he caught, same situation up at Yankee Stadium. Derek Holland had a 2-hit shutout. So hopefully more of the same today. Back up to Buzz in the air conditioning. Enjoy it, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. Yeah, the air conditioner's going right out the window since the windows are open up here. But that's all right. Very comfortable day. Yu Darvish and his friends taking the field here this afternoon. It is a Sunday tradition. The kids out there to get autographs at each position. And we'll take a look at the Cincinnati lineup that Yu Darvish will face today. Shin-Soo Choo leads off. He's in center. Zach Cozart is the shortstop. Joey Votto bats third, plays first base. Brandon Phillips is the cleanup man. Jay Bruce in right field, bats fifth. Xavier Paul is the DH. Todd Frazier at third. Batting eighth and catching, Devin Mesoraco. And Derek Robinson is in left field, batting ninth.
And we'll look at the Budweiser scouting report for Yu Darvish. 7-3. It's been 7 wins for a long time. ERA has stayed very good, 2.95. He's had 16 starts. One thing that is up, home runs. Given up 14 home runs halfway through the season. He gave up 14 all through the season last year. His last 7 starts, his ERA has been under 3, but he hasn't had a win. He's 0-2 in those 7 starts. Looking to get a start today, win this series against the Reds 2 out of 3, and end this month with a 14-14 record. And stay in first place.
There you go. Shin-Soo Choo to lead things off against Darvish. The Choo stepping in, hitting at 271, 12 home runs, 26 RBI, and those 12 home runs, the most by a leadoff hitter in baseball this year. Darvish with the first pitch of the afternoon, and he hits the outside corner like a cut fastball, and it's 0-1. Choo has done a great job at the top of that order reaching base, as that number would tell you. That pitch just outside. 71 of 78 games that Choo has been in, he has been on base. A 90-degree afternoon at first pitch. Very, very comfortable. Light breeze blowing out toward right field. Chopper foul. And Choo would prefer he had not done that. That came down and bit him on the right leg.
He liked the combination of the last 2 pitches. One was a 2-seam fastball sinking away, and that was a cut fastball going right in on his fist, inside part of the plate. Pretty good combination if he keeps that up.
Darvish ready. The 1-2 pitch coming to Choo. Just missed the outside corner. And so far, it has been a variation of the fastball in each of the first 4 pitches. That's the 96-mile-an-hour variant. Nice to have that around. 2-2 to Choo. Darvish okays the sign from Soto. Target set inside. And he skies one to center field. Angel Beltre moving a few steps over to his right. Makes the catch, and that is out number 1. Let's take a look at the rest of the Ranger defense. Brought to you by Skag. David Murphy in left. You saw Angel Beltre in center. Leonis Martin moves over to right. Mitch Moreland at first. Ian Kinsler, Elvis Andrews up the middle. Adrian Beltre at third. Giovanni Soto will start behind the plate, handling Yu Darvish. Umpiring crew, Ted Barrett, the crew chief, calling the balls and strikes. Will Little at first. Scott Berry at second. Mike DeMuro is over at third. One out. Here is Zach Cozart, the shortstop. Darvish firing a strike to the outside corner. Cozart, 247. 7 home runs, 31 driven in, and also a good on-base percentage. And he skies one to center field. That sends Angel Beltre back. Plenty of room, though. He stops well in front of the warning track and handles out number 2.
The last couple of games, Buzz, that we've done for you, Darvish, we've seen him throw a lot of breaking balls. And Ron Washington was quoted as saying he wanted to see some changes. Now, he didn't specify what those changes were, but early in the first inning, he's thrown 7 pitches, and 5 of them have been more than 94 miles an hour. So we didn't see that in the last 2 starts. So
we sure didn't.
Maybe that's the change. There's another one.
And that one a little bit low to Joey Votto. Votto at 322 for the season. 14 home runs, 38 driven in. Chopper foul down the first base side. And again, staying with some kind of fastball. They've all been fastballs of one kind or another. I think the ones, Tom, you were talking about that weren't of the 92, 94 variety were the cut fastballs, right around 90.
Yeah, the only other one might have been the one Chu popped up to center field. That might have been a hard curveball. But even the cut fastball has been better than the cut fastball we've seen the last couple of starts.
That catches the inside corner. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
That was 89 miles an hour. That was probably a splitter, maybe?
I would think so, yeah. Yeah. Darvish, a long look in. Soto going through the signs, and now Darvish says, let's do those again. That's the one he wants. Right-hander's ready. Missed low and inside. Stark contrast to the last time these two guys matched up in Goodyear, Arizona during spring training. Remember Yu Darvish and Joey Votto creating a little bit of a stir. Votto had a big swing and a miss at a looping curveball and then hit one out of the ballpark next time he saw it. Pitch outside, and it's 3-2, and made some kind of gesture. And some people asked Yu Darvish if he thought that Votto was showing him up, and replied in the negative that he didn't think that had anything to do with it. Votto said, I was just playing with the fans, having a good time. Payoff pitch. Check swing, ball 4 is inside. And here it comes back to, we've got a little clip of that from spring training. This is in Goodyear, Arizona this past spring.
It's like as if to say, don't throw me that 2 times in the same at bat. The other side of that is the next time he came up, he probably hasn't had a bat in his career where he looked worse than Darvish made him look in the next at bat with 96 mile an hour fastballs that he didn't even smell. So Darvish did throw 1 too many curveballs, but he also blew away Joey Votto on a couple of fastballs that Votto didn't turn around and have a comment on.
Brandon Phillips fouls back that first pitch. It's 0-1. And again, that we have to remind folks that was spring training. I mean, even though it was the last couple of weeks of spring training, still, I think the media and some fans made it a little more than it really was between the two of them. 0-1 to Phillips. A rip and a miss as Darvish pulled the string on a breaking ball. 0-2. Darvish trying to work around the 2-out walk to Votto. Now Darvish set after a check of first base. Fouled away down the right side. We'll try it again. Well, the Reds come in 4.5 games off the pace in the National League Central, trailing the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have become the first team this year to reach 50 wins. Pittsburgh at 50-30, leading the AL Central. Dusty Baker's ball club in Cincinnati has only won 3 of their last 10 ball games. And they are still a game under 500 on the road at 20-21. Phillips. A last second thought of, I better swing the bat. And just got a piece of it.
Phillips, for a middle of the order guy, he's not a strikeout guy. He's only struck out less than 50 times. And he's trying to make some contact right here. Trying to think to himself, what am I looking for right here? I've seen a 96 mile an hour fastball, a couple of good breaking balls. He's just trying to put the ball in play right here.
Again, the 0-2. I'm going to try it again.
Just spoiling those fastballs. Darvish has thrown more pitches above 94 miles an hour in the first inning than I think he threw against the Yankees in 6 innings.
Yeah, you're right, because after the first inning, we didn't see a fastball. Darvish okays a sign. Again, the 0-2 coming. And that's pulled foul down the third base side.
Pretty tough guy to put away right here, Brandon Phillips.
Phillips, the top run producer on the Reds ball club, with 61 RBI.
Phillips makes contact, doesn't walk very much. He only walked 20 times.
There goes Votto. The pitch is swung on and chopped foul again. Well, Phillips being very much a pest. Now run the pitch count up to 20 pitches here in the first inning. And 8 of them have come with Phillips at the plate, and all on 0-2.
And the one pitch he hasn't tried yet, which normally he will try to a right-hand hitter, is the one down and away. Every pitch has been a strike. The one out of the strike zone, slider down and away. Try to get him to swing at one out of the strike zone, and with no balls and 2 strikes, sooner or later you got to think that one's coming.
One more time.
And that was a good pitch, but that one could be even more outside.
Yep. Hey, and Soto's going to remind him of that too. Say, hey, don't forget it's 0-2 now.
That ball, that again is a strike. It's a good pitch, but 0-2. Maybe a little further away and down. Try to get him to swing at it, and if he does, then he wouldn't be able to make contact.
Soto back down behind the plate. Phillips stepping back into the batter's box. Votto at first. Looks like Soto wants a toss over there from Darvish, and he will get one. Again, looking at that sign, you see the catcher get that little flick of the thumb, and that's when he indicates he wants the pitcher to throw to first base, so the catcher has a chance to watch the runner at first, see what kind of a lead he's getting without worrying about a pitch coming to him. Off the outside corner by quite a bit. Not a bad idea, though. Fastball at 96, and Phillips wouldn't offer. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Did break up Phillips' routine of going ahead and swinging and getting a piece of pitches. Darvish for the next delivery. Low and away. Now it's 2-2. And this is the pitch you want to get Phillips on if you can. You don't want to necessarily go to 3-2 because that would allow Votto to be off and moving with the pitch. See the wide variety of locations. 10 pitches so far. The 11 coming to Brandon Phillips. Darvish sets. You couldn't stop it. You got the strikeout.
That's the one we've been waiting for. That could have accomplished that 5 pitches ago.
No runs, no hits. The Walker left stranded. We played a half inning. Reds nothing. Rangers coming up. Fox Sports Southwest. And here's their starting lineup. It's delivered by Fred Loya Insurance. Ian Kinsler leads off. Elvis Andrus is next. Nelson Cruz is the DH today. Batting cleanup is Adrian Beltre. Mitch Moreland at first base bats fifth. David Murphy in left field. Giovanni Soto behind the plate hitting seventh. Angel Beltre is the center fielder, and moving over to right field and batting ninth, Leonis Martin.
We'll look at the scouting report for Matt Latos. 7-1, solid ERA. Best start of the season was his last start against Arizona. Pitched into the eighth inning, only gave up a run, struck out 13. Second time through the lineup, opponents hit below 200. Third time, a little bit better success, 295. This guy's a horse, 6'6", 250 pounds. Tattooed right arm, mid-90s fastball, usually a hard breaking ball.
Ian Kinsler leading things off. It'll be Kinsler, Andrus, and Cruz, and Latos goes to work with strike one. Ian, 288 the average, and he's been in a bit of a downturn on this first two games of this homestand. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Ian 0 for his last 11 trips to the plate. That goes back to the final game in New York on Thursday. Seen his average drop some 16 points. Latos back to him. There's that hard breaking ball, Tom, that you were talking about.
It looks just like his fastball coming out of his hand. A hard slider. Down and away.
The 1-2 to Ian. That just off the outside edge. 2 balls and 2 strikes. At 288 for Kinsler, the lowest his average has been since way back in April. Last week of the first month of the season. Got him swinging. And Latos gets the strikeout, 1 away. Elvis Andrus coming up. We'll take a look at the Reds defense behind Latos. You got Robinson, Chu, and Bruce left, center, and right. Votto at first, Phillips and Cozart up the middle. Frazier, the third baseman. Mesoraco is behind the plate, and Matt Latos, the 25-year-old right-hander, is on the hill. Now here's Elvis Andrus. Elvis, for the first time in about 3.5 weeks, has that on-base percentage back up to 300. He has been struggling a bit, although starting with the series in New York, it's turning around a bit. Last 5 ball games, he's hit a 315. The 1-0. Sky to right field. Jay Bruce backpedals a couple of steps and makes the grab. That is out number 2. Now Nelson Cruz will face Latos. Latos very much a fly ball pitcher. He pitches up in the strike zone a lot. Into that hard breaking ball. He can overpower people, but he gets a lot of outs in the air too.
He comes straight over the top. He's 6'6", and he's got definitely a tough guy to pick up. Throws from that high arm angle, and that fastball gets in on you in a hurry.
Nelly Cruz takes a strike on the inside corner at 96.
Good combination of an overhand fastball in the mid-90s and that hard slider that looks just like his fastball.
Here's that slider that stayed up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Latos snapping at that ball as it came back. Cruz, you saw a 268 hitter. 20 home runs, 60 RBI for Nelly. 1-1 pitch to him. Catches the outside corner, that hard breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
This is Latos' 5th season in the big leagues. He's only 25 years old. Got to the big leagues in a hurry for San Diego. Went 14-4 for Cincinnati last year.
And that pitch misses, and even the count at 2-2. Yeah, he was part of that big trade that Cincinnati and San Diego pulled off year before last. Latos, the primary guy that Cincinnati was looking for. They gave Edinson Volquez and company to the Padres. Got the #1 starter they were looking for. Line drive, base hit right center field. Over to cut it off is Chu. Cruz going for two. Here's Chu's throw. It's offline. And sliding in safely with a 2-out double is Nelson Cruz. Latos threw a rocket up there, and Cruz turned that missile around.
One thing we've seen this month, and we showed it in the pregame show with Nelly, is you better not hang him a breaking ball. That's that slider that caught the middle of the plate. And you throw that pitch to that same location. That's generally what Nelly's done with it this month. Just drive it, 15th double of the season. He's trying to get on the board against Latos right off the bat here with 2 outs.
So Cruz in scoring position for Adrian Beltre. Adrian, a 1-for-5 day yesterday. Trying to pick up Cruz here in the first inning. Ball 1 is low and inside. $14 home runs, 42 RBI for Adrian Beltre. A ball and a strike as Latos comes back with a fastball. Beltre in his last 4 ball games has been swinging the bat with authority. He's driven in 3. He's also scored 3 runs. And he's hit 350. Latos sets and checks second. And Beltre pops it up. Playable for Votto, the first baseman. Staring up into the bright blue sky, puts it away, and that'll do it. Rangers can't do anything with a 2-out double. They strand their runner. We're going to the second. No score in Arlington. For Jim Knox. And speaking of Jim, let's go over to him. Knoxy?
All right, appreciate it, Buzz. Ranger fans having a good time. What a great afternoon for baseball, right? All right, Community Corner this afternoon. Big happenings before the game. Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation honor the 2013 college recipients of the Nolan Ryan, Mark Holtz, and Johnny Oates College Scholarship Fund. That's right, over $125,000 was handed out this afternoon. To find out more, head on to TexasRangers.com/foundation. Buzz?
All right, Jim, thank you. Jay Bruce starting off the top of the second inning. Flailed that and missed the first offering from Yu Darvish. The 0-1 the count. Foul back. Darvish getting in front. No balls and 2 strikes. Bruce, a .274 hitter. 18 home runs. He is second on the ball club with 55 RBI. The 18-round tripper is the most by a Reds hitter this year. Darvish back to the plate. 1-2 the count. Infield playing Bruce slightly around to the right side. Outfield just about straight away, and he lashes a single into center field. And he is a good-looking hitter. As Jay Bruce leads off the second with the first hit of the afternoon for the Reds.
A lot of left-hand hitters like the fastball in that location, down and in. Like Bruce is one of them.
The 1 on, nobody out. Xavier Paul, the designated hitter. A little step to the plate. Paul, as you can see, a .259 hitter for the season. 5 home runs, 25 driven in. This is the third game on this road trip for the Reds that he has been able to DH. That first pitch high and away. And Soto had to come up out of that crouch very quickly, make the grab. Xavier Paul back in. Left-handed hitter up there against Yu Darvish. And a strike hits the inside corner. Well, Yu Darvish might have said that he didn't need to change anything as far as his pitch selection, but he has changed something.
Yeah, he definitely throwing more fastballs. He might not want to admit it, but all you got to do is check the radar gun speeds. You don't have to watch the game.
Fouled away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
There's been a couple of times where he's jumped ahead of hitters with his fastball. Bruce and Phillips. He finally got Phillips with his strikeout pitch to right-hand hitters, that slider down and out of the strike zone. And against Bruce, you had him count 1 and 2. Threw him a fastball down, and a lot of times you'll see that slider down and in to get a strikeout.
And stayed up a bit. Paul able to flail it back into the crowd. It's still 1 and 2. Jay Bruce, the runner at first, after the leadoff single. Darvish checks him and comes set. Again, the 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging.
I think if he goes back and gets Bruce 1 ball and 2 strikes, that's the pitch he's going to throw to him too. Because if he threw this exact same pitch to Bruce, that would have been strike 3 to him too.
Yep.
Bruce has struck out 98 times this year. I don't think he's going to be seeing that low and in fastball again. Just a guess.
Just a guess? That's probably a pretty good guess.
I don't think you're going to see it on purpose anyway.
Right. So 1 out as Darvish racks up his second punch out of the afternoon. Todd Frazier, right-handed hitting third baseman, is next. And he goes after the first pitch from Darvish, fouls it straight back. It is 0-1.
I think, Buzz, and it's only been an inning and a third. But when you watch Darvish right now after 34 pitches, you call him a power pitcher.
Yeah.
If you watched him against New York, I don't think you could call him a power pitcher.
Nope.
You'd have to call him a breaking ball pitcher.
Yeah,
and I guess that just speaks to the variety and the ability to throw a lot of different pitches. But I like this version.
Well, there's certainly more margin for error when you're doing this. To right field. Long run over for Martin into the corner. He makes the catch. The throw back behind at first base, not in time. Jay Bruce all the way to second, able to retreat just ahead of Leonis Martin's throw.
Yeah, I couldn't see Martin in the corner, but once I saw that the umpire said he caught it, I knew the throw was coming sooner or later. You can see it from this angle.
definitely had a shot at him.
Yep.
Especially with his arm.
A nice running catch out there by Leonis Martin. 2 outs. Devin Mesoraco, the catcher, who was the villain as far as the Rangers were concerned in that 11th inning yesterday. Hit the home run with Kyle McClellan. And he takes a fastball knee high for strike 1. That home run yesterday, the game winner for Cincinnati, his 4th of the year. Now 19 runs driven in. Ripping and foul tip will take you back to yesterday. 11th inning, 1 on, nobody out. And into the night goes that shot off the bat of Mesoraco.
I wish he got the bunt down.
Yeah. Tried to bunt on 1 pitch and didn't look very good doing it. And Dusty Baker said that's not going to work real well. Let him swing, and that's what happened. 0-2 the count to him here facing Darvish. Check swing, that sweeper just outside. It's 1-2. Jay Bruce had the leadoff base hit to center. He's been anchored over there ever since. Darvish trying to keep him right there. And a swinging miss. Strike 3. Strikeouts, a couple of them in the inning. 1 man left for Cincinnati. 1.5 in the books. We are scoreless.
The Fox Sports Fan Express rolling in from the big town of Tyler, Texas, and a packed house on hand. And what a job guys did. Eddie, the bus driver, did a great job getting everybody here safe and sound. And the folks from Tyler, a good part of them in town, having a good time, right, Jeff?
Let's go Rangers! Win!
Jeff, all painted up. Good to have you out here along with the Wood family. You brought your son and daughter, correct?
Absolutely. Having a good time. Thank you guys for having us.
All right, thank you for being here. Enjoy the rest of the game. Appreciate it, guys. Let's go Rangers.
Let's go Rangers!
All right, Jim. She gets those folks fired up. I like that. Bottom of the 2nd inning, it'll be Mitch Moreland to start things off against Matt Latos. A scoreless ball game. Each club with 1 hit. Rangers had a double with 2 outs by Nelly Cruz and left him stranded there in the 1st inning. Now Mitch will try to get things untracked here in the 2nd. 271 the average for the Ranger first baseman. And he takes a good fastball in there from Latos for strike 1. Dozen home runs, 32 RBI. Power numbers for Mitch. And a slow breaking ball that hangs outside. 1-1. I think that's the breaking ball that Latos reserves for left-handers.
More like a curveball than a hard slider.
Well, there's a slider that's pretty effective too. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Latos coming back to the plate. And Mitch, a good rip, and he fouled it straight back. Still 1-2. Moreland, since being activated from the disabled list a week ago Friday, 161 in the 7 games in which he's participated. Said he felt like his swing was in pretty good order, but all of a sudden he took it into competition, didn't hold up for him. Call strike 3. Latos getting that breaking ball right on the inside corner. Records his 2nd strikeout. There's 1 away for David Murphy.
About the inside corner, all those breaking balls, curveball, sliders, all inside corner, all strikes it look like according to our Fox tracks.
So now David Murphy comes up. Murphy at 221. 8 home runs, 27 driven in. Rip and a miss as Latos came with the off-speed pitch.
Yep. Haven't seen that one yet. Add the changeup to the mix.
Right-hander working quickly. Murphy, a rip and a miss. It is 0-2.
You can tell the kind of stuff that he's got when you look at some of the swings that the Rangers have had at him so far. I haven't seen a lot of them, and that's always difficult, especially when you've got this kind of stuff.
Yeah. It doesn't bother you quite as much if a guy can't throw very
bad
hard.
stuff, big deal.
Hey, look at the Ford leaderboard. The team pitching leaders for strikeouts. Cincinnati 3rd on the list behind the Tigers and the Red Sox. Rangers down there in 6th place. Cincinnati with 31 more strikeouts as a team than the Rangers have. And David Murphy joins the strikeout victims. Back-to-back punch-outs. Giovanni Soto. And here's our AT&T Twitter poll today. We're going to ask you for your opinion on should the fan vote determine the All-Star Game starters? And if you think, yeah, the fan vote should determine those starters, go to Twitter and pop on hashtag FS yes fan vote. If no, hashtag FS no fan vote. We'll tabulate the results, get it back to you later on in the ballgame as Giovanni Soto takes a strike from Matt Latos. Soto, one of the few Rangers that has, no, he doesn't. I take it back. Berkman and Baker are the only 2 that have had at-bats against Matt Latos. Giovanni has not. A ball and a strike to count. And it's 1-2.
I don't think we've seen a pitcher all year that has made the Rangers take these kind of swings in any back-to-back inning all season long. I've seen some great pitchers. But so far, 27 pitches into it, Latos has forced 7 or 8 really bad swings.
Got that pitch in on Soto's fist, and he fought it off foul.
And 96-mile-an-hour fastball will set up those off-speed pitches pretty well.
He went through a streak where he had 21 consecutive starts without a loss for the Reds. Check swing, and the appeal, he went around down to first base. The appeal went, and the first base umpire, Will Little, rang him up. So Latos strikes out the side. 3 up, 3 down. We're going to the 3rd. No score. Rangers and Reds. best of the American League take on the National League's top players at the 2013 Major League All-Star Game. Don't miss the battle for World Series home field advantage. It's coming up Tuesday, July 16th on Fox. The road to October starts now. Derek Robinson to start off the third inning, the number 9 man in Dusty Baker's order of things today. Switch hitting left fielder up there, left-handed against Yu Darvish, who fires strike one. He's trying to lay off the high fastball, but couldn't do it. 274 with 5 RBI for Robinson. Chopper softly hit off the front foot. It's a fair ball. What home plate umpire Ted Barrett says, and Robinson could have sworn that hit him in the foot.
Barrett's he's not listening to it, not watching, not asking. He's just basically saying, nice try, kid.
Dusty Baker didn't have too much sympathy for his number 9 man in the order either.
Well, you know, I guess you say to yourself, you might as well try it once you see you're going to be out anyway.
Yeah, just go ahead, Mitch. You step on the bag just in case. You never know.
The umpire didn't look at him. His manager didn't look at him. He just had to stay out there, look around, and walk back to the bench finally.
Well, 1 out. Shin-Soo Choo takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Choo, a fly ball to center as he led off the proceedings here this afternoon. Darvish with a 1-0 pitch. And that misses inside. 2 balls, no strikes.
Thought that one looked pretty good.
And ball 3 sails high. Darvish, who walked Joey Votto back in the first inning, in danger of doing the same here to Shin-Soo Choo with 1 out in the third. And there's a strike. It's 3-1. We showed you our graphic. Choo doing a very good job of getting on base for the Reds. And Jack Cozart, the shortstop, waiting in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, Choo's only a 267 hitter, but he's a 421 on-base percentage guy. Votto and Choo, top 2 on-base percentage guys in the National League.
Choo able to work the 1-out walk. Before we tell you about Cozart, time for a Mazda game break. Here's Dana Larson. All right, Dana, thank you. The tempers are a little bit short here in the warmth of late June.
Yeah, I'm starting to get into that time of year where that happens.
Fastball to Cozart up and in. It is 1 ball, no strikes, and all of a sudden, Yu Darvish having a little trouble locating home plate. Cozart, like Choo, a fly ball to center field, his first time up. Shin-Soo Choo, the runner at first, after the 1-out walk. And high and tight again. 2 balls and no strikes.
Oh, with Votto and Phillips coming up, this is definitely a guy that you want to get.
And Soto was going to go out to talk to Darvish, and Darvish said, no, I don't want to talk to you. Stay there.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
I got it covered.
And Darvish, a quick throw to first to drive Choo back. Choo, a very definite base stealing threat over there at first base. The 2-0 pitch. And a chopper foul off the bat of Cozart makes it 2-1. Choo with 8 stolen bases. That is the most on the Reds ball club. But he's been caught 6 times, so 8 out of 14, not a great percentage. But he has 1/3 of the total that Cincinnati has posted so far this year. Stepping off a pretty good lead as Darvish comes set. to Beltre, to second for one. And Kinsler couldn't quite get the ball out of his glove cleanly. And they'll have to settle for just the force play. And hopefully that's not going to be a big play here in the third inning. But that was just about as tailor-made a double play as you can get. And Ian just couldn't find the handle.
And Chu gets down there pretty good. You can see the lead that Chu's got, the secondary lead. And he's right on top of Ian and just couldn't quite get rid of the ball. And then Chu was too close to him to try to recover. You can see him with all 4 fingers on the ball. He didn't want to throw a palm ball to first base. Nice pickup by Beltre. Picks it cleanly, gets rid of it cleanly. It's a perfect throw, exactly where Ian wanted it. He just never got a grip on it.
Now here's Votto, who walked his first time up. He worked that walk back in the first inning and takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Votto very definitely a guy that in this lineup you do not want to let hurt you if you can avoid it. Pitch inside to him. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Certainly this one of the occasions where you just wouldn't give in to him. You got a right-handed hitting Brandon Phillips following him in the order. Even though Phillips is the top RBI guy on the Reds team, I think you'd much rather face him than Votto if push came to shove. There's a strike on the outside edge, and it's 2-1. Scoreless ball game. We play in the top of the third inning.
Votto probably chokes up on his bat as much as any middle of the order guy.
Hard hit, base hit to left field. Murphy and Beltre over, and Angel Beltre gets the ball back in. But Votto going the other way has the base hit. Runners at first and third now with 2 outs, and Brandon Phillips coming up.
Got a big hole to shoot for. Ranger infielders shifting over towards second base. Open up that hole. Basically ground ball right straight to straightaway shortstop. Sometimes the shift helps you and sometimes it doesn't.
Now Brandon Phillips stepping in, and you'll remember he had an 11 pitch at bat first time up. 9 of those were on 0-2. Up there here where a base hit's going to drive in a run for him. First pitch to him, a rip and a foul tip into the glove of Giovanni Soto. It's strike 1. Phillips finally struck out swinging on that slider away. That was in the first inning. Yu Darvish has given up a walk and a 2-out single. Votto getting the base hit. 0-1 pitch coming to Phillips. A ball and a strike. Runners in scoring position. The 5th highest average in the National League is possessed by the man in your picture there. 405 for Brandon Phillips. That's one reason why he has 61 RBI for the year. Darvish okays to sign a check of the runners. And a fastball comes back to the outside corner. Well, he threw the pitch before that went away in same velocity. The time he threw a 2-seam fastball that came back to the outside corner. 1-2, and the chance of you rolling up at Rangers ballpark. People putting their hands together, getting behind Yu Darvish and the Rangers. 2-2 now. Now Phillips back in, tapping the outside corner with the business end of that bat. Darvish is ready to work. Got him swinging. 96 down, and Phillips strikes out for the second time. Reds strand a couple of runners on a walk and a base hit after 2.5. Rangers nothing, Reds nothing. Fox Sports Southwest. to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Come join the red, white, and U celebration. Enjoy great savings on America's best-selling brand. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Jack in the Box. Now's your chance to go big with Jack's Big Stack Burger. Bottom of the third inning, Rangers come to bat in a scoreless ball game. It'll be Angel Beltre, Leonis Martin, and Ian Kinsler, the first three to do the swinging against Matt Latos. Latos has retired 4 Rangers on strikes today, all 3 of them in the second inning. He'll face Beltre, who steps in hitting .333, 2 out of 6 in his time in the big leagues. Started in New York. Great thrill for him. Angels grew up, spent a good part of his youth growing up in New York, so that was as big a thrill as he could possibly dream of. Next pitch is low, and it's 2 balls, no strikes.
A couple of birthday wishes. Paul Gannat is 80 years old today. On Saturday, Grace Cheatham from Edgewood, Texas, was 96. Bobby Fincher from Waxahachie, 84 years old today.
There's a strike from Latos. It's 2-1.
L.D. Lewis is a good friend of ours. He used to give tours out here at the ballpark. Good friend of former Ranger general manager Eddie Robinson. L.D. is 92 years old today. Happy birthday, L.D.
2-2. Beltre couldn't get on top of that off-speed pitch that stayed up for him.
Clovis Thompson from Abilene is 90 years old today. World War II veteran. Won the Silver Star and the Purple Heart. He's from Abilene, and he's 90, and he's here today. So thank you for your service, and happy birthday, Clovis.
Line drive, base hit down the right field line for Beltre. Turn at first. Bruce gets the ball back in quickly. Now Angel Beltre, a leadoff single. First time the Rangers have had their first hitter aboard in an inning. Leonis Martin coming up. And let's quickly go down to Rick Renner. Rick.
Hey, Buzz, you know, it's an interesting matchup of managers in this one. Dusty Baker and Ron Washington go way back. They've known each other for 35 years. They played together on a Dodgers team in the 70s. Wash calls Dusty a mentor, while Dusty said he may have gave him his first break. He gave up an at-bat so Wash could play.
I felt kind of sorry for him because, you know, he wasn't, you know, he wasn't playing at all. And, you know, Ron used to sprint to the plate, you know, and take his practice cut and then get in the box. And, man, he blew by me like he was a hurricane. And I don't remember if he got a hit or not, but, I mean, this guy was he was always in the game, and he hustled all the time. You know, and then his team manages, I mean, he manages his team the way he used to play.
Both these managers have taken their managers to the world, taken their teams to the World Series. And the thing that's really great is the pupil actually has a better winning percentage than the teacher. Good staying power with these two guys, Buzz.
All right, Rick, thank you.
I wish I saw that at bat.
Yeah. I can see that happen, though. I can see Wash doing that. And I would imagine if you asked him, Dusty might not have known, but I know Ron would know what he did in that at bat.
I know what Ron would say. I hit a rope somewhere.
Yeah. Latos, meanwhile, pretty preoccupied with Angel Beltre at first. There's the 77 Dodger teammates. Dusty Baker at 291 with 30 home runs that year. Ron Washington in 10 games hit 368. That's pretty good.
One more announcement. John and Barbara Harrington celebrating their 57th wedding anniversary today. They're from Granbury, Texas. Happy anniversary. Got a perfect day for a ball game.
First pitch to Martin is blowing outside for ball 1. Leonis not showing any sign of a bunt there. Now out of the batter's box, checking with Gary Pettis, the third base coach. Leonis.
I was ready for a game about 104 degrees today. It's 89 degrees. Beautiful.
Latos with the 1-0 pitch. And that's fouled out of play to the left. 1-1. Leonis Martin brings that 13-game hitting streak going. He's A 400 hitter over those 13 games. With 2 out of the ballpark, driven in 5 runs. With batting average at .288. Second longest active streak in baseball. The appeal down to third and no swing. So the count moves to 2-1. Miguel Cabrera has a 14 gamer going for the Dodgers. That's the Dodgers. I've got 77 Dodgers on my mind. The Tigers. Latos ready, a check of first. There goes Beltre, and the pitch is looped in the air down the left field line. That will slice back into the crowd. So Ron Washington putting on a hit and run with Angel Beltre and Leonis Martin. Skipper pulling out some stuff for his young players to try and execute. Although, you talk to Ron Washington, young has nothing to do with them anymore. Because once the guys get to the big leagues, the expectation is they help us win. It has nothing to do with being young and inexperienced.
Not when you're fighting for a pennant.
No.
If you're a last place team building for the future, maybe. Not if you're fighting for a pennant.
That goes for position players and pitchers alike.
Yesterday's game, the Rangers had Profar, Angel Beltran, and Leonis Martin at the bottom of the lineup. 3 young players.
2 balls, 2 strikes, the count. Beltre again, a good lead at first. He's on the move. Pitch swung on and missed. No throw, as Mesoraco couldn't get the handle on the ball. So in safely with a stolen base, Angel Beltre. But Leonis Martin retired on strikes.
Pretty good lead, pretty good jump. That hard breaking ball. I've seen that same pitch swung and missed at several times today. 5 strikeouts now for Latos. Latos gets a lot of strikeouts, right around a strikeout per inning, a little less, and not many walks. Good command of that way above average stuff.
Well, Angel Beltre with his first major league stolen base at second now, and Kinsler takes the first pitch in the dirt for ball 1. Ian, a strikeout, his first time up. Latos has struck out 5 of the first 9 men that he faced today. Dealing here with his second runner of the day at second base. Angel Beltre at the bottom of your screen, stepping off his lead from second. And the pitch inside. It's now 2-0 to Kinsler. Now we'll see what the Rangers are able to do with Latos' second time through. Mentioned they hadn't seen him, Tom, in spring training, yeah, but regular season, no. So we'll see if the second time through the order, the advantage shifts away from the pitcher a little bit, or if Latos has something else to deal. And Kinsler pops up the next pitch. Right side of the infield, Votto, the first baseman, underneath it. Makes the catch. That is out number 2, and will bring up Elvis Andrus. You just have a little bit of time until 10:59 tonight to vote for Rougned Odor, the young infielder for the Rangers. Put him on the Futures All-Star game. That's going to be held in New York on July 14th. That's the Sunday before the All-Star game on Tuesday. It's the Citi Field in New York. And Rougned is one of the 5 finalists for that last spot on the World Tour. The World Team, I should say. And you want to go to either the Texas Rangers site, or you can go to the Futures game site and cast your ballot for Rougned Odor, another Ranger in the festivities for All-Star Week. 2 on. Here's Elvis, who flied out to right field back in the first inning. Beltre, the lead from second. Latos to the plate and misses low and inside 1 ball and no strikes. Elvis, 27 runs driven in. Increase that total here. Get the Rangers on the board in a scoreless ball game. Leto studying the signs. And the big right-hander comes set. And the 1-0 pitch. Instead, he'll step off and make a little motion toward Beltre at second. Letos again sets. Line drive, just foul down the left field line. Kind of like Elvis got that down toward the trademark a little bit. Well, the count is even now at 1-1. Hits are even at 2 this afternoon. Neither team has been able to capitalize yet. And Matt Letos, we showed you in our pregame that Letos gets extremely tough when the opposition gets runners in scoring position. The batting average drops about 20 points to around 210 or so. Rip and a miss. It's a ball and 2 strikes. That power breaking ball of his.
When he's kept that thing down a little bit below the knees, he hasn't even had anyone foul tip it. Ball to Nelly Cruz, it was a breaking ball, but it stayed up above the knees. That's when he ripped to right center.
Letos, the Virginia native, comes set. The 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Zarocco, a nice block as he went down to both knees to corral that pitch. 2-2 now to Andrews. Nelson Cruz swinging a bat in the on-deck circle, hoping to get a shot at Letos here in the 3rd inning. Letos now with that pitch count creeping up ever so slightly. 30 of the 46 pitches have been strikes today. Right-hander nods in agreement and comes set. Call strike 3. Elvis thought that pitch was low, and Ted Barrett said, Well, that is the strikeout number 6 for Matt Letos. Rangers gone in the 3rd. No runs a hit, 1 left. On to the 4th we go. Rangers nothing, Reds nothing.
We head to the 4th inning. This was the scene before the game earlier this afternoon. 24 participants participated in the pitch, hit, and run competition down on the field. Tim, one of the coordinators, a heated battle here, but what's next?
Well, we'll find out tonight which of the winners here today make advance to the national finals at the All-Star game.
And that will be MLB Network will announce that decision out of the winners today. Tyson and Tori, a brother-sister combination, but they competed today. Actually won their division. Now, Tyson, I don't think you trained together, but if you were going up against Tori, would you win?
Yes.
And Tori, what would you think about that?
No.
Sure. Okay, so no problem there. We'll let you guys duke it out after the game. All right, appreciate it. We'll look for it later on tonight at the MLB Network. Congratulations, guys, for getting this far, and best of luck. We'll see you at the All-Star game, maybe. Thank you. Buzz?
All right, Jim, thank you.
Now, that would be a thrill for a kid.
Wouldn't it? Jay Bruce, kind of a late swing and a miss. He's down in the count now, a ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, that'd be great. That whole program is really something. Did you ever do the one in football?
No,
as a kid?
never had it around my area
Did they?
that I knew of anyway. Maybe just didn't go back that far.
High twisting fly ball down the left field line. David Murphy, a long run, and just in foul territory. Murphy able to grab the ball and bump up against the patty. And that is out number 1 as Jay Bruce fouls out to Murphy in left field. Now 1 away, now Xavier Paul as you look at David Murphy coming over.
David's got the shades on. See the sun twinkling in his left eye. Late in the game, the sun can definitely be an issue. You see it for a night game right before the sun sets behind the stadium down the right field line. It's an issue. It's right in the left fielder's eye. Today it could be an issue on fly balls more than those line drives as it begins to set around 6:30, right around in there. The game lasts that long.
Xavier Paul, the hitter, he was struck out his first time by Yu Darvish. Darvish has 4 strikeouts through the first 3 1/3 innings. There's a strike to the outside corner. Tom, what about a day like today? You hear about the high sky, and there aren't any clouds around. Maybe a couple of wisps here and there. Is this a high sky, or is it not? Does it not qualify as one?
You know, I think, Buzz, the definition of a high sky basically is a blue sky with no clouds. You don't get the same depth perception. But I've always wondered how to answer that, because it's like one sky higher than another.
Yeah,
it's way up there somewhere.
Denver's got to be higher, right?
I don't know. There are definitely some skies when a fly ball goes up, you don't feel as comfortable tracking it as you do in other places.
Like Oakland comes to mind.
Yeah.
That seems like it's always a problem there.
Yeah, and I don't know whether it's because it's on a day with no clouds. I don't really know exactly how to explain exactly what a high sky is, except I would call it a high sky if on a high fly ball I didn't feel like I tracked it very well.
Ball chopping the next pitch foul and the good breaking ball. It's still 2 balls, 2 strikes. So what you're saying is if you miss one,
blame it on
it's a high sky.
Yeah. A little hard to do it at night, I guess. But we need a scientist to explain what a high sky is, if in fact there is even such a thing. Just because we've used that term forever in baseball, I guess, doesn't mean that it's actually true.
One of those baseball myths.
Maybe.
2-2 pitch on the way. Got him swinging. Second time that Xavier Paul has gone down swinging. That's 5 strikeouts for Darvish. 2 gone now, and Todd Frazier will come up.
See a bat over the ball. The ball broke, curved right underneath his bat.
And then the bat went around and tried to curve Giovanni Soto's helmet. That's why catchers started wearing those helmets, because the backswings like that.
Definitely. It's a great idea. That was a great innovation.
Sure was.
Catchers used to just wear their regular hat underneath their mask.
And a base hit to left field by Todd Frazier. He didn't waste any time going up there and picking on the first pitch from Yu Darvish. So Frazier aboard. That is the 3rd base hit of the afternoon by the Reds.
Basically a batting helmet without the flap underneath the mask to protect. against that backswing.
Frazier first with 2 away. Evan Mesoraco, the catcher, will stand in. Mesoraco went down swinging the first time that he faced Darvish today. A little calling card for Frazier at first base. Darvish having some bug problems out there. Now Giovanni Soto going to go out and have a talk with him. Saw something about first pitch. And of course, Frazier hit the first pitch to get on first. That Giovanni Soto was saying, hey, let's get ahead, but don't throw the first pitch right down the middle, whatever we're throwing. Make it a quality first pitch strike. Mesoraco, 4 home runs, 19 driven in, and the pitch is fouled straight back. 0-1, the count to Mesoraco. Pitch that Mesoraco hit with a home run last night. And you saw the replay of it last time up. Was that high fastball. It was up just about shoulder high, and he really got on top of it. Kyle McClellan left that fastball up to him. Pitch outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Todd Frazier, the runner at first. Billy Hatcher, the first base coach, saying a word or two. And a chopper off the fist towards short. To second, the close play in time to get the sliding Frazier. Well, Elvis and Kinsler team up. That'll do it for the Reds. No runs ahead, 1 left. Third, bottom of the 4th coming up. No score. $10 right here on Fox Sports Southwest. For Chevy Hometown Kids, it's not about the score, it's about the experience. Great experience out here this afternoon for a lot of the kids. Brilliant sunshiny day. A well played and well pitched ball game thus far. No score as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Matt Latos back to the hill. Will work to Cruz, Beltre, and Moreland. First 3 Rangers due up against the right-hander. Latos has struck out 6 in the first 3 innings. He's given up 2 hits. Has not walked a hitter. Nelson Cruz doubled to right center his first time up. One of 2 players that the Rangers have gotten as far as second base today, but Latos has shut the door right after that. 0-1 the count as Latos fires a strike. Nelly now 3 out of 8 on this homestand. Roller up the middle. Cozart plays a tricky high sidearm throw, and Cruz retired. 4 out, number 1, and Adrian Beltre now coming to the plate. Adrian Beltre, a pop out to Votto in the first inning. Came up there with Cruz at second base, 2 outs. Tried to go after a high fastball from Latos and couldn't get on top of it. First pitch to him. Low and outside for ball 1. Latos at the 50 pitch mark, 33 have been for strikes. Beltre bounces one foul off the facing of the seats down there in the left field line. A Reds fan came up with that play.
Tough glove to catch a ball in right there. Finger.
Inside to Adrian. 2-1 now the count. Beltre, you go back over the last month and a half, he's been a .341 hitter. Covers 43 games. He shoots another chopper foul to the left. Once he's started turning things around, he has been the model of consistency. He's 10th in the American League with 895 hits at the halfway point. The 2-2. Center field. Chu started back, now has to come on. A long way to go, and he can't get there. That ball falls in. Shin-Soo Chu's going to use the high sky as the reason he couldn't get it.
Yeah, he didn't come close to catching that ball. Like a fly ball to center field. Chu got a bad jump. He was playing deep to begin with. Didn't show a whole lot of sense of urgency. Trying to come in and dive for that ball either. I guess, you know, in this kind of a game, chances are if he dives and misses, it's a man on second. He didn't want to do that.
The Rangers catch a break. Let's see if they can do something with it.
You won't see that ball fall in very much for a base hit, that's for sure. No. Chu looking up at the sky several times, so that might have been exactly what happened to him.
Here's Mitch Moreland, who was called out on strikes his first time up there. Check swing, and the appeal down to third. It is a swing, says Mike DeMuro.
Didn't look like it from up here, but generally those look a lot different when you show them the second time than they do when you see them in real action.
Mitch, as you saw, hitting at an even 270 now as he readies himself for a Latos pitch. A strike to the inside corner. Latos ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. Adrian Beltre, the runner at first. Bottom of the 4th inning, a scoreless ball game. Both clubs with 3 hits this afternoon. Latos back to the plate, and a chopper foul down the right side. We'll come back and try it again. Remember, Mitch Moreland got off that terrible start, hitting about $160. And once he started turning things around, you have to go back to 21st of April. From that point on, he has been a .303 hitter. 10 of his 12 home runs and 28 of his 32 RBI in that span. And he pops this one up. Left side, shallow left field. A trio of Reds going in pursuit. Robinson, the left fielder, makes the last second call and the catch. He chased off Cozart and Frazier, the shortstop and third baseman. That is out number 2 to bring up David Murphy.
That's what the left fielder should do on that ball. It's a very difficult play for the third baseman. difficult for the shortstop, a lot easier for the guy coming in. You see him yelling for it all the way. Generally, the shortstop and the third baseman are happy to hear him yelling for it. Easier play for him.
Two away. Here's David Murphy. He went down swinging the first time that he was facing Latos. David hitting at an even 220 as Beltre the lead from first. One ball, no strikes. Adrian aboard with that sky-high base hit. Fly ball that fell in front of Chu. Strike to the outside corner. That evens things to Murphy. And he didn't, judging by his reaction, didn't think that was in the zone. But Ted Barrett did.
Yeah, I don't blame him for thinking that.
Latos sets. And the 1-1 in the dirt. That gets away from Mesoraco. Down to second was Adrian Beltre. So he is in scoring position on the wild pitch.
Third time in 4 innings the Rangers have had a man on second base. Not a lot of rallies so far in this game. Tough day for the hitters so far. Both teams. A little blooper get you on the board though.
2-1 the count to Murphy. Beltre now at second. Infield pulled around a couple of steps to the right for David Murphy. Outfield shading him a step or so the other way. And he chops one foul down to first base. And Dave Anderson, Ranger first base coach, has a new best friend right there in the front row. 2-2 the count. Idea of the defensive alignment. Chu in center field, one step over toward left center. That's about it. Now the 2-2 pitch. Low, it's 3-2. Now we'll see what Latos decides to do here. He's got Giovanni Soto, a right-handed hitter in the on-deck circle. First base is open. See how much respect Matt Latos gives David Murphy. Latos studying the signs, agrees to one. The payoff pitch on the way. Inside low, ball 4, and Murphy got a healthy dose of respect from Latos. First walk of the afternoon. First and second. And Giovanni Soto coming up, a strikeout victim. His first time up there. The first inning for the Rangers to have 2 runners aboard at the same time. See if Giovanni can cash 1 or 2 of them in. Soto 3 home runs, 6 RBI. Starting his first game since last Thursday in New York. Took an 0 for 4 in that contest. Latos first pitch inside, ball 1. Ron Washington open his ball club, can scratch out a run or 2 here quickly. 1 ball and 1 strike. Soto, his years with the Cubs over the National League, a .222 hitter against Cincinnati pitching. Latos ready. And a rip and a miss. Giovanni's hand slipping off the bat. 2-2 now. Soto digging in the back of that batter's box. Latos studying the signs as Beltre gets his lead from second. Murphy away from first. The 1-2 pitch. Just did check his swing, and the count is even at 2-2. Now Matt Latos ready one more time. Got him swinging. Hard breaking ball, and Latos gets his 7th strikeout of the afternoon. No runs, a hit, 2 men are left. On to the 5th we go. Rangers nothing, Reds nothing. Fox Sports Southwest. Tuesday night, now through August 13th. You can also enter to win free Rangers tickets and a VIP Rangers experience. Just visit otbfanzone.com for more details. A bright, sunshiny Sunday afternoon as we head to the top of the 5th inning. And as always on our Fox Sports Southwest telecast, Mark McLemore, co-host of Rangers Live before and after the game, joins us. Thanks for stopping by, Mac. It's been a while since we've seen you.
It has. You guys have been gone for a little bit.
Yeah, well, the surprise is we got back in town. They let us back in again after that foray into New York. Pop foul, that will reach the seats. Eric Robinson starting things off. It's 0-1. Pretty well pitched game so far. Got a couple guys on top of their game.
It has been. Latos, this is really my first look at Latos. Pretty big fella. And got that nice downward angle that all hitters seem to hate. A couple of good pitches.
Robinson, chopper to first, his first time. And Yu Darvish missing inside. Tom and I have been talking about what Yu Darvish has looked like today. Much more simplistic approach from my standpoint. A lot of fastballs, commanding the fastball, commanding the strike zone, and that's a nice change.
It's a very nice change. I just look at it. The guy's got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. I think you should use it. And today he's using it and being very effective with it. I mean, he's got great off-speed pitches, but when you throw 95, 96, it's kind of nice to use it.
Breaking ball is just low, and it's 2-2. When you look at the fastball breakdown, 77%, and that's a little bit deceiving in that all 77% of that doesn't mean they were straight fastballs. He's cut fastball, you get a two-seam fastball, and What it means velocity-wise, it was up like right there. That's a breaking ball that just throws Robinson, and he's seen the fastball before, and he thought that was going to stay high, and it didn't. Strikeout number 6 for Darvish.
Yeah, I don't know of any hitter that wouldn't rather face Darvish when he's throwing a lot of breaking balls than they would when he's throwing his 94, 96 mile an hour fastball to get ahead. And then when you haven't seen as many breaking balls, then when he throws it, it's just really tough to hit it.
Back to the top of the Cincinnati order. Shin-Soo Choo has been on one time via a walk. That was his last time up. And ball 1 is a little bit low. Choo, along with a walk, has flied to center field. Good fastball outside corner. This might be as many two-seam fastballs or fastballs that tail away as we've seen Darvish throw in a while.
It's been a long time for me seeing it. You know, normally I think he's just gotten into that habit of throwing the breaking ball just and living with it.
The off-speed pitch that just hung outside. That was I think that's the first one, isn't it, Tom? You've seen that?
Yeah, first slow one.
Slow curveball.
And there's nothing, you know, just because Votto hit that thing 490 feet doesn't mean you can't throw it every now and then. That's not Joey Votto at the plate right now.
Yeah, maybe just not to him.
Yeah, I would not recommend trying it again to him, especially in a game like this, nothing to nothing.
Well, not if you're going to leave it knee high in the middle of the plate. No.
You know, that's what got him in trouble against the Yankees. He gave up 3 homers. He's given up 5 home runs in his last 2 games, 3 of them against the Yankees, a couple of them to guys that shouldn't hit a home run, and all of them were slow breaking balls. The same guys that were launching long, high home runs off that hanging curveball won't hit his 96 mile an hour fastball out of the ballpark. Now, he can hit anything, so he's, you know, tough to use him as any kind of criteria.
It's like Soto wants that back foot slider. 2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Back-to-back strikeouts, 7 for the afternoon. 2 gone for Zach Cozart. Well, folks, time is running out for you to vote on your 2013 Rangers All-Star selections. You can help send your favorite Texas Ranger to the All-Star game by voting up to 35 times at TexasRangers.com. And fans who vote the maximum number of times and select the Rangers as their favorite or second favorite team will receive a 50% off ticket offer. Voting ends Thursday, July 4th at 10:59 p.m. Central Time. Strike 1 to Cozart. Zach Cozart, the Reds shortstop, 0 for 2 today. And he's going to be 0 for 3 if he swings at that pitch one more time. Almost impossible to go up the ladder with him.
The only guy that could hit that ball hard was Vladimir Guerrero. Yeah. Maybe Adrian Beltre.
Yeah. This one in the air to left field. David Murphy. A couple of steps back. Wait for it to come down. That'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning. That's the first one for Darvish this afternoon. We've finished 4.5. Rangers nothing, Reds nothing. Today's Cold Hard Fact is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. How about Matt Latos? 21-5 since the start of last year. That's the highest winning percentage for major league pitchers with a minimum of 20 decisions. That is incredible. And you throw in there, he had a 23-game streak where he did not have a loss. 21-game streak where he did not have a loss. Went 10-0. Incredible. And, you know, watching him today, you can understand why he has been so successful. This 25-year-old has a great idea of how to use his great stuff. The ball is by him towards second, and the quick release not nearly there as Angel Beltre, a perfectly executed drag bunt to lead off the Ranger fifth inning.
Angel Beltre showing you a few things that tend to get him more and more playing time. Yeah, line drive base hit. A perfect bunt. Get it by the pitcher. Nothing they can do about it. He got some speed on the bases. Got a base hit and a stolen base in his first at bat. Mac, that is the key right there. You got to get it by the pitcher, right?
Beautiful bunt, and it's a great pitcher to do it off of. He's 6'6", and most guys that big, I mean, they're just not that limber. They're not that quick. They can't bend over that well. So get it by him, and it's a base hit.
Well, Beltre now 2 for 2 this afternoon. Here's Leonis Martin, and Latos going to work on Beltre at first, who had his first major league stolen base back in the third inning. Meanwhile, Leonis Martin struck out the first time that he faced Latos today. See what Ron Washington has in mind here. He had the hit and run on with this tandem last time. Here's a line drive, base hit right center field. Beltre around second, motoring into third. Going for two is the slide. Martin is safe. A hustling double for Leonis Martin. And the Rangers 8 and 9 men have a bunt base hit and a line drive double.
Well, pretty exciting watching those kids down at the bottom of the order. They can play the outfield, they can throw, they can run. They're swinging the bats a little bit. This is Max, a pretty aggressive base runner. What were you thinking when he went for second?
What are you doing? I was not expecting Martin to take second on that. That's a great play, great slide, but I was not expecting him to go into second base on that.
I wasn't either. I'm like, where are you going? He knew what he was doing.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I didn't think I was choking. I couldn't get it out of my mouth that he was going to second.
Well, Wash tells him he wants him to be aggressive on the bases, so
they're taking him at his word.
Yeah, if he was thrown out and came back, Wash probably wouldn't have said anything to him.
Now here's Kinsler with the infield in, and a strike is called as Mesoraco came up bluffing a throw to third. 0-1 to Ian, who has struck out and popped out.
Well, you got the two kids at the bottom of the order setting it up for the veterans at the top of the order here.
Scoreless ball game. Rangers trying to break that scoreless deadlock. See the infield in just in front of halfway. And a ball inside makes it 1-1. This kind of a safety valve, Mac, to have the infield back a little bit from all the way in.
I was never really a fan of halfway.
Yeah.
I think you're either back or you're in. You make a commitment one way or the other, especially with guys with speed, because if you're halfway, it's not going to make a difference. The runner at second base is going to move up to third base. The runner at third base is going to score.
Unless chopper over.
Unless it's hit to the corners.
Right. I always say, you know, bringing the infield all the way in makes an average hitter much better. But at the same time, like you're saying, if you've got speed at third base and you're not all the way in, even if you're a couple steps back, you're not going to get the guy that's played anyway. Angel Beltre at third, Leonis Martin at second. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to Ian Kinsler. Need some contact here from the Ranger leadoff man. Blowing outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And this is something that Ian has done very, very well this year. Put the ball in play. He has had the opportunity to drive in a run. He has more often than not gotten the mission accomplished. Tough man to deal with, though, Matt Latos. He's ready for the 2-2 pitch. And Ian doing a good job of spoiling that off-speed delivery. That's the slower variety. It wasn't a power-breaking ball.
Yeah, Ian's been up well over 200 times. He only struck out 19 times. He's walked more than he struck out.
62% of the time in these situations, he has gotten the job done. 2-2. Latos again set. Kinsler a whip and a miss. He is gone, and Latos, some nasty stuff, gets a big strikeout. One away. Elvis Andrews coming up, and right now let's take time for a Mazda game break. Again, here's Dana Larson. All right, Dana, thank you. Pretty dramatic fashion. So a big strikeout for Latos. That's his 8th of the afternoon. He got Kinsler, and now second and third with one out for Elvis Andrews. Elvis 0 for 2. A fly ball and strikeout. The squeeze is on. The butt is down. The throw to the plate. Not in time. And it gets away. Here comes Martin. He will score. Hurt at home plate is Beltre. Down to second goes Andrews. And Angel Beltre is prone right next to home plate. He slid in, had a hard collision with Mesoraco, the catcher. And he is down and not getting up right away.
I thought he hit his head, but I couldn't tell.
Kevin Harmon, the trainer for the Rangers, out there to take a look at him along with Ron Washington. Beltre is up. Looks to be a little bit woozy. Wash asked him if he knows where he is. He said, yeah, I know where I am. Looks like the throw might have gotten him, huh?
Looks like, yeah, I think the ball hit him in the head.
Now, what did he get a good jump at third, Mac?
No, I think he went a little bit too late.
I thought he did too, because with his speed, it's not going to be a play at the plate.
Shouldn't have been close.
Well, the Rangers take a lead, and it was on the throw. Watch the throw from Latos. It gets just under the batting helmet, right on the side of the head.
Good call, Buzz. I never saw that.
And he has those glasses on, which probably compounded the problem for him.
Well, the good thing, it wasn't a 90-mile-an-hour pitch. It was kind of a flip, and so hopefully he'll be okay.
Well, the Rangers take a 2-0 lead on a sacrifice, an RBI for Elvis. And then the error charged to Latos, allowing Leonis Martin to score and Elvis to get the second. 2-0 Texas. Nelly Cruz, 1 for 2, is at the plate. Takes the pitch inside, and it's 2-0. Now Wendy's presents now. That's better. And Nelly Cruz, 6 hits in his last 13 times to the plate with runners in scoring position. And that right on the heels of only 7 for 42. Now that's better. 2-0 pitch. Ground ball to short. Cozart plays a tough hop and able to stay with it to get Cruz. That's out number 2. Staying at second is Elvis Andrews, and now Adrian Beltre will come up. Beltre, Adrian, hit a fly ball to center that you never saw until it was too late. Dropped in for a single his last time up. So Beltre 1 for 2. Latos getting set, a check of second. The pitch is outside. That breaking ball missed. It is 1-0.
That was a good call by Wash to put the squeeze on. Gave Ian a chance to drive him in. It didn't happen. And you just can't sit back in this kind of a game and hope that someone drives and run it when you've got a good bunter up there. Pulled it at a good time. Plus, got a good pitch to bunt, too. That slider down and away out of the strike zone might have been a tougher ball to bunt.
Yeah. Timing is everything, right?
Yeah. You got a pitch up, which made it a lot easier to bunt.
Well, Elvis, his 28th RBI of the year. 1-1 now to Adrian Beltre. 1-2. Well, Latos staying steadily inside on Adrian Beltre. Beltre, along with the single, has popped out to first base. Latos okays the sign. The right-hander's 1-2 pitch. Going to third is Elvis. His pitch swung on and missed, and Beltre gone on strikes. The side retired, but the Rangers strike for 2 runs on 2 hits and an error. They lead 1. Back, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll see you after the ball game.
See you.
Cam, and we will show you the Yu Darvish strikeouts this afternoon. Pretty good assortment of fastballs and breaking balls. And the breaking balls coming after the fastball. Darvish, through his first 5 innings of work, has struck out 7 here today, and more importantly, has a 2-0 lead with which to work now as he goes to work in the top of the 6th inning.
You know, Buzz, I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but he has thrown a lot more fastballs today, and his breaking ball has been a lot better, too. He hasn't been bouncing them in, hasn't been all over the place with a count. Pretty much getting ahead, using a lot of fastballs, and then when he has used his breaking ball, it's been a very good pitch for him.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think the more fastballs you throw, too, or the fewer breaking balls you throw, whichever way you want to look at it, your margin for error with a breaking ball increases. Well, if guys don't see it all that often, they're going to have a harder time hitting it when they do see it.
Definitely.
No matter where it is. He's gotten ahead of here very quickly to Joey Votto at 0 balls and 2 strikes.
And that last pitch was some type of a changeup, either a splitter or a regular changeup. Right at the bottom of the strike zone. He got the call on it.
Got him swinging. Fastball tailing down and away. That's that 2-seam fastball.
That thing really moved.
Yes,
boy.
it did.
Nosedive.
Oh, 1 away. Brandon Phillips coming up. Let's go over to Jim Knox again. Jim.
All right, Buzz, real quick. I tell you what, all these Ranger fans will be back Tuesday night because it'll be Texas Ranger Fedora night. They will hand out 30,000 of these fedoras to the first 30,000 fans, courtesy of Gloops. You can also do some nice tricks with this fedora. Check this out, Buzz and Tom. Anyway,
The wind got you, Noxie. The wind got you.
Tuesday.
Actually, that was either the wind or high sky that got you. I don't know what it was. First pitch to Brandon Phillips up over his head for ball one. Phillips struck out both times that he has faced Darvish here this afternoon. Darvish now 8 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings of work. The 1-0 pitch. It's low and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Phillips taking his time getting back in the box. The Reds' second baseman ready to work. So is Darvish. 2-0 pitch coming. All the way to the backstop. 3 balls and no strikes. Darvish, who has walked 2 today, falling behind Brandon Phillips. He walked Chu in the 3rd inning, walked Votto in the 1st inning. 3-0 here to Phillips. Ball 4, 4-pitch walk. Puts Phillips aboard with 1 out. Jay Bruce coming up.
It's definitely the dangerous part of their lineup. The 3 hitters, Votto, Phillips, and Bruce, all have power. Navigated himself through that part of the lineup pretty well today. Only giving up a walk and a couple of singles.
And Jay Bruce has one of those singles. That was a leadoff base hit back in the 2nd. He's also fouled out to left field. And that's fouled out of play to the left. It is 0-1. The pitch that Bruce hit for the single to center was on a 1-2 fastball. It was down and on the inner part of the plate. Let's see if Darvish tries to stay away from that area with the fastball. See if he can either elevate it or work the back door with a breaking ball. Ground ball, base hit to right field. Rounding second, heading over to third is Brandon Phillips. And the Reds with runners at first and third with 1 out for Xavier Paul.
Looked like a cut fastball. Trying to get it in. Never got it in. Stayed right near the middle of the plate. Not exactly where he was trying to throw that ball.
No.
He's struck out Paul twice. Use another one right here with a man on third base and only 1 out.
Rangers with that 2-0 lead will play the infield back. Brandon Phillips, the runner, coming down the line from third. First pitch to Paul is fouled away to the left. It is 0-1. Xavier Paul has struck out swinging both times against Yu Darvish today. .255 the average as he faces Darvish for the 3rd time this afternoon. Fastball called strike.
Oh, you love that too. You got getting in trouble now. 1st and 3rd, 1 out. 94, 95, 2 fastballs. You can never go wrong with that kind of a fastball if you locate it right. But now you can go with that or that breaking ball down and in. That's been his strikeout pitch.
0-2 pitch. Chopper foul outside first. We'll come back and try it again.
Didn't quite get it down and in as far as he wanted to. No damage done. But he's going to swing at it. Just don't make it a strike. This looked like a strike.
That was pretty close to being a hanger.
Yeah, that
right there.
That was a hanger, really. Just an inside hanger.
Darvish about ready to throw his 100th pitch of the afternoon. 66 of the first 99 have been strikes. Just missed the outside corner.
He didn't swing at that. I don't think he could swing at it 96 miles an hour. That's
pretty good 0-2 pitch.
Yeah. Definitely plant 96 miles an hour in the back of your mind.
Phillips at third, Bruce at first. The 1-2 pitch. Out of play as Xavier Paul just slapping that high breaking ball the other way. You're going to try the back door, though. You got to get that breaking ball down. Get it up there, it doesn't do you much good.
No, you can make contact with it up there.
Soto going through the signs, and Darvish picks out one that he wants. Ready again for the 1-2 pitch. Just getting a piece of it. Paul able to stay alive. That looked like the two-seam fastball really moving away from him. .273 Paul's average. 20 points or so higher than his overall average. With runners in scoring position. And Darvish trying to wiggle out of this one. Two and two now. Part of the problems the Reds have had lately, gone backwards a bit, has been with runners in scoring position. They are just 11 for their last 108. That's a 102 average. The last 14 ball games. And, it was not like the Reds teams that we know. Now the 2-2 pitch. Moreland to second for one. The return to third. In time, the double play.
Hello.
3-6-3. Darvish and the Rangers get out of a tough spot. One man left for the Reds on a hit and a walk, and the double play takes care of Dusty Baker's crop. So we are going to the bottom of the sixth inning. The Rangers leading the Reds 2-0 on Fox Sports Southwest. Today's jackpot is worth $2,200 and dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. Today the Rangers are hitting for Margaret Lane from Terrell. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Margaret Lane from Terrell will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Well, a huge double play turned by Mitch Moreland and Elvis Andrus to cap off that sixth inning and keep the Reds off the scoreboard.
And Mitch does that really well, too. He's got a strong, accurate arm, and he had to get back quickly for Elvis's throw, and he accomplished that. Going for the strikeout. Batter battled in that at bat. Paul made contact, solid contact, too. Fortunately, hit right at somebody. The Rangers turn a double play and get right out of the inning.
Here's Moreland to start off the Rangers' sixth. Then he takes the off-speed pitch that stays high for ball one. Mitch, a strikeout and a fly ball to left field. 0 for 2 this afternoon, hitting at .268 if he leads off the Rangers' sixth. It'll be Moreland, Murphy, and Soto, the first three to do the swinging against Matt Latos. You get one more look.
That's an easier double play for a left-handed thrower. Much more difficult for a right-hand thrower. He got back kind of a moving target for the shortstop, but no problem.
Called strike. It's 2-1. And it's also easier when the first baseman could get back there to cover too, instead of the pitcher having to cover it.
Yeah, racing across the bag. That's for sure.
Latos with a 2-1 pitch. And it's high. 3 balls and a strike. The Matt Latos, who has only walked 1 this afternoon, falling behind Mitch Moreland, the hitter that he walked, waiting in the on-deck circle in the person of David Murphy. And ball 4. Moreland, the leadoff walk, and Murphy coming to the plate. Dusty Baker keeping an eye on his right-hander. He has no one working in the Reds bullpen, and that's because Latos is the kind of guy you know is going to get you through 7 innings at least. That's been his track record. Rangers making it tough on him today. David Murphy mentioned that walk. That was his last time up. First time up, he went down swinging. 0 for 1 officially. Moreland a short lead at first as Latos sets. He's on the move, and the hit and run is on. A ground ball right at Votto. It worked just like a sacrifice. With Moreland moving, he was able to take away any chance of a force at second. 1 out. Moreland at second base now. Hey, baseball fans, Metro PCS wants to send you on a VIP flyaway experience with your home team in LA. Register in participating Metro PCS locations for your chance to win. Well, Moreland at second, 1 out. Giovanni Soto struck out both times that he has faced Latos today. Right-hander's first pitch, a little bit low for ball 1. Giovanni 183 the average. Six RBI. Giovanni would love to increase that number right here. Little looper out behind second. Brandon Phillips backpedaling on a couple of feet into the outfield grass. Soto's retired. That is out number 2. Angel Beltre coming up.
The Rangers have had a lot of opportunities with a man on second base that they haven't cashed in on. Elvis was at second base last inning after 2 had scored with only 1 out. And several other times they haven't been able to get that hit. Angel Beltre's had a good day.
Yeah.
Base hit, stolen base, a bunt single to start the 2-run rally in the 5th.
Scored the first Ranger run on that suicide squeeze by Elvis Andrus. Took a ball to the, looked like the side of the head. Knocked him loopy for a second, but bounced up and he's just fine. Trying to pick up Mitch Moreland from second. And he grounds one to the right side. Votto underhands the Latos covering, and that will do it. Well, the Rangers get the leadoff walk to Moreland, but strand him. We have finished 6 in Arlington. The Rangers 2, the Reds nothing. Fox Sports Southwest. Rangers with the 2 spot in the second inning. A couple of hits and a sacrifice or a suicide squeeze, I should say, has scored both runs. Yu Darvish has made that stand up, just 4 hits in 6 innings with 8 strikeouts. Matt Latos not too shabby himself, just 5 hits in 6 innings with the 2 runs, only one of them which is earned, and 9 strikeouts. It has not been a good day for the offense necessarily, but the Rangers riding the coattails of good pitching, good defense, and a timely suicide squeeze. Bottom third of the order to face Yu Darvish here in the top of the 7th inning. Todd Frazier is 1 for 2 as he steps in. A breaking ball cuts the outside corner in half. It's 0-1. In action in the Ranger bullpen, lefty Robbie Ross up and throwing as Yu Darvish has gotten 4 or 5 pitches over the 100 mark. Ahead of the count here to Frazier, 0-2.
Last time up, Frazier hit the first pitch, an inside fastball, and ripped it to left field. Probably had that in his mind this time too, but he's seen 2 breaking balls and been way out in front of him, kind of pulling off both of them.
0-2 pitch.
Give him a chance to do it again if he wanted to.
Tried to. Frazier's trying to figure out what he's supposed to do with himself, and how do I keep that front shoulder in there to. Then you get that fastball in your fist and you say, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. 1-2 pitch to center field, going back. Beltre puts the brakes on just in front of the warning track.
One thing
out number 1.
One thing that looks like that Frazier can definitely hit a fastball. Hits the ball solidly, all 3 times up. 1 to right, 1 to left, and 1 to center. You trying to get through 7 innings. He's at 108 pitches right now. Good strike to ball ratio, 72-36.
Devin Mesoraco, the Reds catcher, steps in, 0 for 2 today. And he taps one foul down the third base line. Eric Robinson waiting in that on-deck circle to be next. Rangers 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors. Reds no runs on 4 hits. They have committed 1 error. Fastball outside corner at 95. It is 0-2.
Well, whoever their advanced scout is, if he watched the Yankee game, he didn't have a very good report on what they're seeing today.
No, he's got a lot of guys mad at him.
He's going to have people call him, what the heck were you talking about in that scouting report? This guy's thrown 95 miles an hour all day long.
Yeah, it can be deceiving. You see these guys one time. That was a totally different pitcher that took the mound last week in New York. And a breaking ball is popped up. Kinsler out in shallow right field, waiting for it to come down. Puts it away. That is out number 2. And Derek Robinson coming up. Well, fans, when you purchase your tickets on TexasRangers.com, you'll save 50% in select seating areas for most Tuesday home games. And that includes Tuesday, July 2nd on Gloop's Rangers Fedora Night. Get your tickets today at TexasRangers.com/specials and use the coupon code Ozarka.
Yeah, Buzz, we talk between innings a lot. And after that game in New York, when Wash said we need to see a little bit of a change, I'd have to say you and I felt the same way. It's pretty much what we were saying that whole game.
Yep.
That's just not, that's just not the kind of pitcher he should be.
And I don't think either one of us felt it was just that game in New York where it started.
No.
It had started.
It was a trend.
Yeah. And that's one of those deals that changes incrementally as you go over time. And if you're the pitcher, you don't even notice it, or you may not notice it as much. All of a sudden, you got from point A to point B, and you have no idea what happened in the interim. Pitch to Robinson, a knee-high strike. It's 1-1. Well, whoever decided this, and whatever the cause, we know the result is exactly what you want, and that's a Yu Darvish that has gone out to dominate a pretty good hitting team in Cincinnati. And he's done it with a lot of good fastballs. He appealed down to third, and Mike Muro said, nope, no swing. It's 2 balls and a strike to Robinson. stuff he has taken out there today and how he's used it's going to play against anybody. 2-1 pitch. Missed low and outside. 3 balls and a strike.
You got a guy that's not a home run threat. The pitch you have to throw him, 2-1, is a pitch you can throw for a strike. Yep. Take your chances. You don't have to try to trick this guy.
Missed it. Ball 4. And that's one of those bad walks.
That's a bad walk. That's a bad 2-1 pitch. You threw him some off-speed pitch, 2-1. On a fastball, 92 miles an hour, right down the middle of the plate.
Ron Washington on his way to the mound. That is probably going to do it. Matter of fact, it is going to do it because Wash just pointed to his left arm, said, I want Robbie Ross coming in. But Darvish will leave, and most of the crowd here this afternoon getting on their feet to give Darvish a standing ovation as he exits the ball game. He leads with a club leading 2-0, and he leads with the responsibility of Derek Robinson at first, and that's it. So Robbie Ross will come in. He will face Shin-Soo Choo with 1 on and 2 out. We'll be right back to Rangers Ballpark after this. Sports Network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live sports. All the news, highlights you want, and shows and specials that only Fox could bring you. America's new sports network is Fox Sports 1, and it's coming August 17th. Now, Robbie Ross now out of the bullpen to take over. 1 on and 2 out here in the 7th inning. Ross facing Shin-Soo Choo, who looks at strike 1. Choo, as you can see, 0 for 2 today. A walk sandwiched in between, a strikeout, and a fly ball to center field. And he's behind in the count now as Robbie Ross heated him up with that fastball. 0-2.
Choo's a .330 hitter against right-handed pitching and a .149 hitter against left-handed pitching. If you ever wanted to make a case for a guy being platooned, those numbers might make you think that way. Problem is, Choo's a frontline player who should be able to hit left-handers a lot better than he has this year.
A ball and 2 strikes. Ross okays the sign and sets. Fouled off and knocked the mask right off of Giovanni Soto, and the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. If you had any cobwebs, that knocked them right out of your head. Giovanni flashing the signs, and Ross okays one. Left-hander back to the plate. Just inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Robbie last worked here night before last worked an inning of one-hit baseball. This is his 38th appearance of the year. The 2-2 pitch. Fouled away to the left.
People walking down never saw that ball. Went right by him. Don't take your eye off the ball.
Derek Robinson with good speed at first. Ross checks him to the 2-2. And a chopper foul to the right. Ross trying to come up with that put-away pitch for Shin-Soo Choo. Robbie now up over a strikeout per inning of work this year. He has come on of late to increase that strikeout total. Misses outside, so the count has gone full, and with 2 outs now, Robinson will be moving with the next pitch. If Choo extends the inning, Jack Cozart, the right-handed hitting shortstop, is waiting in the on-deck circle. Ross sets. Robinson on the move. Payoff pitch. In the air to left field. Murphy started and has to go back. Still going back and makes the catch. David kind of misreading that off the ball, or off the bat, but he's able to retreat, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits. No Walker left stranded. Stretch time at Arlington, 2-0 at Texas.
Bottom of the 7th over the Cincinnati Reds. Rick Renner here at the ballpark. And, you know, the trade deadline is just a month away, but it's going to feel like the Rangers are making all kinds of trades with all the pitching they're going to get and not give anything up. Joaquin Soria is expected back before the All-Star break. Today, Colby Lewis and Alexi Agondo pitch bullpen sessions. Agondo could be back in uniform on the field after the All-Star break. Colby Lewis at the end of July. Here's Colby about his progress.
Still feel like it's not exactly where I want it, but Doc said everything's great, so I'm just going to push through what I got, and like I said, maybe when I get into more of a fighting shape, then it'll feel better. So yeah, like I said, it feels pretty good right now, so we're just going to keep the positive note and move forward.
Colby had a minor setback. It was just muscular, not the surgical part. But the cool thing about Colby is he said he's been real impressed with the 20 or somethings that have held this pitching staff together. Up top to Steve Busby in the air conditioning again.
All right, Rick, thank you. It'll be interesting to see what the actual timeline is. We get all kinds of hopes and chance of this date and that date. When they get here, they get here.
Yeah, that's about all you can say. want them back, but want them back healthy,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Want them back when they're ready to go.
Yeah, you know, in Colby's case and in Alexi's case especially, 100% healthy, where they can come back and not get shut down again. I don't know that Joaquin Soria can ever say after what he's gone through with the second surgery in his career that he's going to be 100% right now. That may take another year for him. But the other two guys you want to see at 100% health and get them back to where they're productive parts of the Rangers staff again. Leonis Martin leading things off. 1 ball and no strikes. Martin doubled and struck out today. He scored the second Ranger run in the 5th inning. In a bunt and bunts it down foul. Came up and hit him while he was still in the batter's box. And that will even the count at a ball and a strike. So both young men at the bottom of the order, Angel Beltre and Leonis Martin, showing the willingness and the ability to drag that bunt down the first base side. Beltre had a key bunt base hit to start off the 5th inning for the Rangers. That started the 2-run inning that Texas had today. Into center field, that's a base hit. Leonis Martin continuing to rocket the baseball. Well, 1 on, nobody out, top of the order coming up, and let's take time for another Mazda game break. Here's Dana Larson. Back and forth going on out in Oakland.
The Rangers have had 6 hits in this game. Beltre and Martin have 4 of them, batting 8th and 9th.
Toss to first, and Leonis Martin backstanding. Martin very much a stolen base threat. He has stolen 15 bases, and they've all come in the last 17 games. He has been on a tear. He's on the move here. The pitch is taken. The throw to second, not in time. Leonis Martin with his 16th stolen base.
Well, that's the case. That's one of those stolen bases. They know he's going, and they can't stop it. He had a good lead and a good jump. To pick up that extra insurance run right here, and extra insurance run. Martin's ripped a fastball for a double. And he ripped an off-speed pitch up the middle for a single.
Extended his hitting streak to 14 games. He's having a lot of fun. 0-1 pitch to Kinsler. Popped up on the right side. Votto waiting for it to come down. Now moves into foul territory. And Joey Votto makes the catch as Ian has popped out for the second time this afternoon. He's 0 for 4. 1 out. Here comes Elvis Andrus. Elvis had that sacrifice bunt, the suicide squeeze with Beltre at third and Martin at second in the 5th inning. Got the ball down, and the throw to home plate by Lathos, the pitcher, hit Beltre in the side of the head and carried him away, and that allowed Martin to score on the same play. And that has been the sum total of the offense for either ball club today. And there's a line drive to center coming on his cue. He can't get it. Have to play it on a hop. Martin had to hold up to make sure the ball fell, so he only gets the third. But the Rangers with runners at the corners and 1 out for Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, there was nothing Martin could do. I thought the ball was going to be caught off the bat. A well-hit ball by Elvis, so you can see Martin. He wants to go, but he has to stop, and now he can only get to third.
Dusty Baker out to the mound. Lathos giving up 2 hits in the first 3 hitters that he faced here in the 7th inning. Dusty out there to chat with his right-hander, who is right at 100 pitches. He's going to stick with him for 1 more hitter probably. Lathos has gotten to 100 pitches virtually every time, but last time out he was at 110, and that for him was a high water mark. Dusty Baker with the heat being a factor here today. Just checking with his right-hander. Line on Latos today, 6 1/3. Third straight start with 9 or more strikeouts today. He had a career-high tying 13 strikeouts last time out.
He probably wants Latos to stay in there in a situation where he could use a strikeout, even though he hasn't struck Nelly out yet. He's grounded out to short twice and doubled. Definitely doesn't want to bring a lefty to face him.
Manny Parra, the left-hander, out there in the bullpen. 0-1 the count to Nelly Cruz. Cruz a double in 3 trips. And a big rip and a miss there. It's 0-2. Cruz trying to hit that one to downtown Dallas. Came up empty. They get another shot here. No balls, 2 strikes.
I'll take Grand Prairie with this one.
Okay.
Shorten up a little bit.
Toss to first. That drives Andrews back. Grand Prairie or maybe Midlothian, somewhere down that direction. Right center.
That'd be a long one.
Latos set a check of the runners. The 0-2 pitch. He got Nelly right on the fist, and he fought it off foul. Still 0-2. Cruz, of course, the team leader with 60 runs driven in.
You mentioned earlier, Buzz, that Latos didn't give up much with men in scoring position, and boy, that's been the case today. Rangers had that squeeze play. That's it. They've had a lot of men in scoring position. They haven't had a hit yet with men in scoring position.
Little looper, right field, base hit.
Now they have.
Leonis Martin scoring. Nelly Cruz, a little looper over Brandon Phillips, the RBI single. The Rangers lead 3-0.
That's a good 2-strike approach. He went for it, as you said, on the 1-strike pitch. He missed it. Now you got to make some contact. So he's just trying to do that. Tough pitch up and in, but he kind of fights it off over second base, picks up a big insurance run. Still got an opportunity to add to that right now with Adrian Beltre.
So Andrews at second, Cruz at first. A run across. Here's Adrian, who is 1 for 3 also. Latos, first pitch. Inside corner. It is 0-1. Beltre at 297 as he faces Latos here with 2 on and 1 out in the Rangers' 7th inning. Right-hander sets. Beltre a drive. Hit high and deep to left field. Robinson going back. He sees it now. He makes the catch, tagging at second, and coming over to third is Andrews. The runners to the corners and 2 outs, and boy, Derek Robinson, when that ball went up, I don't think he saw it when it got up above the height of the stadium, but then it came down out of the sun, and he was able to get a beat on it.
It's battling it all the way.
Yeah, he sure is. Well, that's going to do it for Matt Latos. With Moreland and Murphy coming up, they want the left-hander Parra to come in to face them. So Latos finishes after 6 2/3 innings. 3 runs so far to his ledger. The 2 on base his responsibility. We'll be back to Ranger Ballpark in Arlington right after this. delivery of the game. And it just happened. Delly Cruz, a little looper over to right field. A very big RBI single to bring home Leonis Martin. And just like that, a freaky fast RBI for Nelson Cruz, his 61st of the year. And he gives the Rangers a 3-0 lead for Manny Parra.
Well, Manny Parra will be in his 22nd game. Pitched in yesterday's ball game, did a good job. Opponent's hitting over 300 against him, though. Mitch looking for a big hit to bring in that 4th run right here.
The breaking ball is outside from Parra. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Mitch today 0 for 2 with a walk. He led off the 6th inning with the free pass. That was one of just 2 issued by Matt Latos, the starter. Now facing Parra. Manny Parra, the 30-year-old from Northern California. Toiled until this year with Milwaukee. Left-hander goes 6'3" and about 200 pounds. Back to the plate, and the fastball is high. It's 2-0. Mitch, again, really coming to life against left-handed pitching, hitting almost 360 against them in the last month of play. Well, the last 31 games for Mitch, but the time he spent on the disabled list thrown in there, it's a couple of months. 2-0 pitch to him. And the breaking ball hangs high and inside. It is 3-0. Parra unable to locate the strike zone to Mitch. Got Andrews at third, Cruz at first. 2 outs, a run across here in the 7th inning. The 3-0. Outside, ball 4. That will load him up for David Murphy. Dusty Baker, his only left-hander in the bullpen, Manny Parra, and he said, bring you in to face a left-hander. He walked the first one. Now you've got another one to face. Well, base is full. Murph today 0 for 2 with a walk. Parra from the stretch. And Murphy yanks one foul down the right side. Back into the seats. It is no balls and a strike. Murph with a couple of grand slams in his career. Got Elvis at third, Nelly at second, and Mitch over at first. The 0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Parra having trouble getting that off-speed pitch to left-handers away. Murph wagging that bat back and forth as Parra sets. The 1-1 pitch is coming. Outside and low, it's 2-1. Pitch 3 could have been, but wasn't. The next Parra offering to left field. Robinson toward the line and toward the corner makes the catch on a twisting line drive. Side retired. Rangers score a run. On 3 hits, they lead 3. We're going to the 8th inning. Rangers 3, Reds nothing. Fox Sports Southwest.
game. We got a couple celebrating big wedding anniversaries. We got Orville and Penny celebrating their 34th wedding anniversary. Orville, give me a tip. How did you stay married 34 years?
She's always right.
There we go. All right, we also have Joe and Nancy celebrating wedding anniversary number 50. How'd you do it, Joe?
Well, you got to be a good guy and you got to love your wife. Let her manage the money and say good, yes, dear. And to Washington Rangers, go Rangers!
You get the Progressive fan of the game. Congratulations, Joe and Nancy. Way to go. Orville and Penny, congratulations. Root the Rangers on to a big victory here. Thank you, guys.
All right, Jim. Zach Cozart, the shortstop, leading things off against the new Ranger pitcher, and that is right-hander Tanner Shepard. Shepard becomes the third Ranger to toe the hill tonight, this afternoon. 2-0 the count to Cozart. And the pitch missed inside. It's 3 balls and no strikes.
Tanner with exceptional numbers so far this year.
And a 4-pitch walk. That's not what he had in mind as Cozart drops down to first. And it brings up Joey Votto. The Shepherds, the walk to the leadoff man. Tanner, 15 walks in 40 innings prior to that. And very unusual for him. And the pitch to Votto is outside. 5 straight balls, and that's going to bring Giovanni Soto out to the mound. And Elvis Andrus will join in that conference. You know, the one thing you don't want to do right here is come in and not be able to locate home plate. You get your ears pinned back by guys swinging the bat, that's one thing, but him and walk folks, that's not a real good idea.
And if you had to analyze Tanner's stats and find something that wasn't positive, you might say he's had a little bit of a high walk total. Not alarming by any means.
And a base hit down the left field line. Murphy playing that way, able to cut it off before it gets to the corner. But Votto going the other way, and a walk and a single. Now 2 aboard with nobody out for Brandon Phillips. And Mike Maddox headed out to the mound.
Votto just going the other way with that fastball. Fastball was tailing away from him, but right near the middle of the plate. Not a tough ball for a guy like Votto.
Well, the Ranger pitching coach Mike Maddox out there to see if he can get Tanner Shepard back in the groove. And Neil Kotz, the other left-hander in the Ranger pen, up and throwing. So Shepard now will go to work with runners at first and second to Brandon Phillips. Phillips 0 for 2 with a walk and a couple of strikeouts. All 3 at bats that he had were against Yu Darvish today. And he drives one to right field. That's going to settle for a base hit. And that's going to load the bases with nobody out. Stop sign put up for Cozart, who had to make sure that ball was going to fall. And Cozart walked, Votto singled, now Phillips singles. And it'll bring up Jay Bruce with the bases full.
One of the guys you don't want to see up in this kind of a game with the bases loaded. Guy with power. Tanner's thrown 7 pitches, given up 2 hits and a walk.
Minnesota's going to go out there and buy some time so you can get Kotz ready in time to come into this game to face Bruce. Kotz heating it up as quickly as possible. And now coming back, Giovanni Soto. Looks like it's going to be up to Shepard. Nobody out, bases full. Bruce today is 2 for 3. Single to right, single to center, and fouled out to left. 1 ball, no strikes. 43 extra base hits, second in the National League for Jay Bruce. 2 balls, no strikes.
He's thrown 2 strikes and 7 balls. Both strikes he's thrown have been hit for base hits.
Minnesota going to go out again, and again buying time. We saw Elvis come in, he was buying a little time, and Giovanni going to go out dual purpose, buy that time, but also see if he get Shepard back down in the strike zone. Now Ron Washington is going to the mound, and that's going to be it. So he's going to bring in Neil Cox with a 2-ball, no strike count, and the base is full.
That's all you can do right here.
Yeah,
he wasn't even close with those first 2 pitches to Jay Bruce. You just, you know, you've got a left-hander warmed up. He's been pitching a lot, and he pitched yesterday, but you just can't stay. You can't stay with Tanner when he's throwing the ball like that.
So Cox on his way in. Shepard is finished after facing 3 batters plus a couple of pitches. We'll be right back to Rangers Ballpark in Arlington after this. West is brought to you by the all-new Mazda 6. When you change everything, you change everything. Now Tanner Shepard removed after 3 hitters plus 2 pitches to Jay Bruce, and Neil Cox now will come on. Tough spot, bases loaded, nobody out. A 3-run lead and a 2-0 count to Jay Bruce.
Yeah, great numbers for Neil. And we talked about him in AAA, how he went 30-something at bats without giving up a hit to a left-hand hitter. In the big leagues, he's given up a .231 average to lefties and a .105 average to righties. And just the opposite.
You got to be careful here with Bruce on the first pitch. He's up there hacking against left-handers, and that's what Jay Bruce has done this year. He's a .284 hitter against left-handed pitching, which is about 15 points higher than against right-handers. And he's got 7 of his 18 home runs against left-handers. 2-1 the count. Fly ball, pretty well hit right center field. Is playable back there for Beltre. He makes the catch, tagging at third, coming down the line to score is Cozart. Everybody else moves up. So runners at second and third now. A run across. It is 3-1 Rangers. Votto now at third. Phillips at second.
Yeah, that's a bad throw. You got to throw that ball to second base.
Yep.
You got no chance to throw the guy out at third. That throw's got to come into second base. He just launches this throw to third base with, I mean, there's not even the scent of a play at third. throw the ball to second base to get keep the double play.
And that's part of the deal when you put young players out there that haven't learned how to play the game because of minor league experience or inexperience. That happens, and it happens at inopportune times. And the first pitch, we have a pinch hitter for Xavier Paul. It's Heisey is the hitter. Chris Heisey, who DH'd here in the first game. And as a pinch hitter now for Xavier Paul. Runners at second and third. Cots to him, and pitch is chopped foul. It's 1-1. Heisey, a 181 hitter, 2 home runs, 5 RBI. Neil Cots working to him. The 1-1 pitch. Fouled straight back. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Now Cots in a situation where he can go for the strikeout. You got the tying run at second with 1 out. Tying run being carried by Phillips at second. Votto at third. 1-2 the count to Heisey. Rolling in, tried that breaking ball and couldn't get him to offer it. 2-2. Heisey, a 176 hitter with runners in scoring position this year. Cots back to the plate. Just getting a piece of it. Heisey stays alive at 2-2.
That's a good strikeout pitch. Threw it right where he wanted to. Down and barely in the strike zone. Got the swing and he just got a piece of it.
Cots reading the signs. The left-handers ready. Again the 2-2 pitch. In the air, right center field. Cruz calling for this one. Tagging at third is Votto. The catch is made. The throw is going to third. Excuse me, it's not Cruz, it's Martin. And safe at third, just ahead of the throw, is Brandon Phillips.
Yeah, Phillips is clapping his hands that he's safe. Take a chance on making the last out of the inning right there. And now a 1-run game at third base with 2 outs. Not a high percentage play. That throws about a foot to the left and he would have been out.
Now Ron Washington going back out to the mound again as you get a look at how close that play was with Brandon Phillips sliding head first just ahead of the throw by Leonis Martin. And Wash wants to bring in the right-hander from the bullpen. It looks like Jason Frazier was up and loosening in support of Neil Cots. Neil Cots finished. Frazier come on, and he is going to be facing Todd Frazier with a tying run at third and 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Another timeout. We'll be back to Rangers Ballpark right after this. This 8th inning. Rangers had a 3-0 lead as the inning started, but problems have befallen the bullpen, specifically to Tanner Shepherds. So now you got the tying run at third with 2 outs, and Jason Frazier on has to get Todd Frazier to end this 8th inning.
Chase has been throwing the ball well, and big out to get right here. Maintain that lead. Frazier's hit the ball hard today. Lined out to right field to Martin. Made a nice catch early in the game. Had a base hit, hard hit ball to left field, and a fairly long fly ball to center field, all off you, Darvish.
Frazier's first pitch through the breaking ball, and it is 0-1. It's no secret. We noticed it up here about the first ball fastball to Frazier, and that is the scouting report on him.
That's what he was going for right there. It sure looked like it.
Frazier again with the 0-1 pitch. And it's tapped foul, 0-2. And Jason Frazier facing Todd Frazier. Frazier's going to win this battle.
Frazier or Frazier?
I'm fairly confident that that's going to happen. Out of just over 39,000. And they are putting their hands together. They want this threat to be nipped in the bud right here in the 8th inning. No balls, 2 strikes. Frazier okays the sign and sets. Just off the outside corner. 1-2. Todd Frazier, a single in the 4th inning. As Tom told you, he lined to right. That was back in the 2nd. Last time up in the 7th, he skied to center field. Infield, a couple of steps around to the left. The outfield straight away at all 3 positions. The 1-2 pitch. Found that a play. He had a fastball that time to work with. And fouled it off to the right. See if Frazier goes back to that breaking ball to him. Jason worked here on Friday night. Worked an inning and a third. Just 1 hit and a strikeout. Asked now to pitch in a very important part of the ball game. 8th inning in a 1-run game. And another chopper foul. He went back to the off-speed pitch. The only fastball has been at number 4 up there. It was at the very top of the strike zone. Crowd getting after it again. Jason Frazier ready. Missed outside with the fastball. 2-2. Brandon Phillips down the line from third. Look to center field. Beltre in and over to his right, makes the catch, and that will do it. But the Reds come up with a couple of runs on 2 hits. They strand the tying run at third base. Bottom of the 8th coming. Rangers 3-2 over the Reds. younger players and the teaching moments that you have. And there's the group right there going with Gary Pettis, the outfield coach, and Adrian Beltre adding his expertise to it. But Leonis Martin, Angel Beltre are being given some of the finer points of the game of baseball by guys who know. So we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Alfredo Simon is on, the right-hander, and Ron Washington has gone to the bench and come up with A.J. Brzezinski as the pinch hitter. So Simon, the pitcher now, and A.J. Brzezinski off the bench to pinch hit for Giovanni Soto. And first ball swinging, it's sliced down the left field line. That'll take one hop off the warning track and hit into the seats down there over the tarp.
Saw Alfredo Simon in the first game. Featuring some pretty nasty stuff. Mid-90s fastball, curveball, cutter, changeup. Had it all working in that game.
And a line drive to right field. That is right at Jay Bruce. Brzezinski hit it on the nose, but has to make a right turn at first base. That is out number 1. And Angel Beltre coming up. Beltre this afternoon 2 for 3. Also has a stolen base. He has scored a run. Simon's pitch. Fastball is high. 1 ball and no strikes. Beltre a bunt single in the 5th inning. That ignited the 2-run rally for the Rangers. Pulls that pitch foul, and well, that went over into the Ranger dugout. Was caroming off people.
It hit the bucket right in front of somebody. Got a ball bucket right there next to the camera guy.
Get caromed off that and got the skipper.
Missed Paul though.
Yeah.
Paul was ducking out of the way.
Off the fist, a little one-hopper out to short. Ozark throws Beltre out. 2 gone. Leonis Martin now will come up. Alfredo Simon, a couple of quick outs. Well, let's take a look at the AT&T Twitter poll results for you. Remember, we asked you about your opinion on should the fan vote determine the All-Star Game starters, and 80% of you said no. That fans vote for the sentimental favorites. I don't think that's correct. 20% said, yeah, fans get it right.
I think for the most part, when you look at the starting teams, they're pretty close. There's occasionally some times where hometown fans vote the hometown guy in. That happens sometimes, but for the most part, the fans do a pretty good job.
You know, there's the argument too, Tom, that with the All-Star Game determining the home field advantage for the World Series, that you should have your best team out there if that's going to be the case for the All-Stars. You should take it out of the fans' voting prerogative.
You know, the other side of that, though, is the manager, once the game starts, can do whatever he wants. So if there's a guy in there but voted in by the fans, he could put the right guy in there in the 4th inning or the 5th inning after one at bat.
1-2 the count. You saw a shot of Joe Nathan. He's heating up in anticipation of the 9th inning. There's a little number first baseline. Votto gets it, steps on first, and just does get Leonis Martin, who is hot-footed down there. Well, the Rangers gone in order. We are going to the 9th. It's Joe Nathan time at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. The Rangers leading 3-2.
Larson here, reminding you that when all is said and done, we'll have Rangers Eye presented by Esurance. Mark McLemore will join me to break it all down. We'll hear from Ron Washington, the players in the clubhouse, and provide a number of updates on the injury front for the Rangers and set up the series with the Mariners coming up later on this week. That's all coming up right after the game, but now let's get it back to Steve Busby and Tom Grieve, guys.
All right, Dana, thank you. Well, the ageless one, Joe Nathan, 38-year-old closer for the Rangers, on to see if he can get his 27th save of the year. He's 26 out of 27.
Well, it's been a spectacular start to the season, no doubt about that, for Joe Nathan. Those are all-star numbers with an ERA under 2. Opponent's batting average below 200. 3 big outs to get right here.
He will face the catcher, Devin Mesoraco, to start off the top of the 9th inning. A rip and a miss. Mesoraco trying to tie this game up with one swing of the bat.
Jim Johnson for the Orioles has 27 saves, and that's the most in the American League.
Out of play to the right, and an 0-2 advantage for Joe Nathan. Nathan holding right-handed hitters to just a 153 batting average against him. The 0-2 pitch. Fly ball right field down the line. It is twisting over Leonis Martin near the wall, and the ball back in the second row. And we'll come back and try it again at 0-2. Nathan, an inning and a third in yesterday's ball game. Had 1 strikeout, and that was it. Still 0-2 to Mesoraco. Nathan to the wind, and the pitch again fouled away. Mesoraco just slapping that ball. It was up and away from him.
Yeah, he's working a 2-strike approach. He's just trying to put the ball in play out there. Trying to be a tough out.
A.J. Przinsky, who is back behind the plate now, wants the slider from Nathan. And he gets it, and Mesoraco does a pretty good job of staying alive. Well, the 6th pitch of the at-bat coming up. You see Nathan staying away, and
after the ball that he hit the other night, I don't blame him.
Exactly. The 0-2. Couldn't get him to offer at that pitch. He threw him the curveball, the slower of the 2 breaking balls that he throws. And the count moves to a ball and 2 strikes. Mesoraco 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a pop out, and a ground out this afternoon. Nathan to the wind, the 1-2 pitch to right field, headed toward the gap. Long run for Martin and Beltre in the gap. And who caught that thing?
Don't do that. He's got it. No, he's got
Martin got it. Martin was the front man. Beltre was the back man. And they came together with the ball at the same time.
Well, the good thing is that they didn't bump into each other. That was disaster waiting to happen right there. Oh, man.
A little too close for comfort.
That's way too close for comfort. But the ball got caught. That's what counts. I think the 2 guys are going to have another conversation with Gary Pettis after the game. They had one because of the throw last inning, and they're going to have another one after that play.
That conversation may go on through the off day tomorrow.
Yeah, they might have a little bit to talk about over a cold beer after this one.
So 1 out, Derek Robinson, the number 9 man, and the switch hitter up there from the left side against the right-hander Nathan. Nathan with the 0-1 pitch. Nailed down the outside corner. 0-2. Robinson 0 for 2 today. Ground out, strikeout. He's also walked. Joe Nathan getting this crowd riled up here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. A lot of them on their feet, all of them putting their hands together. The 0-2. Now a ball and 2 strikes. Well, Nathan with that new baseball rubbing a wrinkle in it. Back up on top of the hill. He will appear in for the sign here momentarily. To the wind he goes. The 1-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. And A.J. Brzezinski spikes the ball into the dirt. He was trying to grab that thing. That's close. A.J. said, check down there for help, and Mike DeMuro, the third base umpire, said no. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The help I was looking for.
Yeah. Ask somebody else. Ask Beltray down there third.
Ask Ron Washington.
Yeah. Nathan's 2-2 pitch coming. Call strike 3.
Don't have to ask
Backdoor
anybody.
hook. He throws him like a Swanson TV dinner.
No need for help on that one. Just drop it on the outside corner.
Ted Barrett ringing him up. Now the crowd on their feet. Shin-Soo Choo is the hitter. Choo 0 for 3 with a walk today. Nathan's first pitch. Strike 1.
Joe throwing strikes. 13 pitches, 10 strikes.
Choo is 2 out of 11 against Nathan. That's a 182 average in his career. 1 ball and 1 strike. Choo's walk came in the 3rd inning. Other than that, a couple of flyouts and a strikeout. 1-1 delivery. Low and away, it's 2-1. Brzezinski getting ready to flash the sign out. Joe said, yep, that's the one I want. The 2-1 pitch. Hard hit ground ball right at Kinsler. Up with it on to first. The Rangers win it. And Joe Nathan with his 27th save. The Rangers win 2 out of 3. And Yu Darvish, his first win since May 16th. His 8th of the year. The Rangers win 2 out of 3. And they win their 48th game of the year. They are now 48-34. And they snapped the little 1-game respite that they had in the loss column. They are now 24-16 here in Arlington. They have won 10 of the last 13 games that they have played. So Joe Nathan gets the job done in what was a very tense 8th and 9th inning. And 2 very good friends, Dusty Baker and Ron Washington,